Thank you. Please be seated. Prefect joke of the day is, what did the cake say to the fork while they were fighting? What? Are you sure you want a piece of me?
Good one. Good morning, everyone. We're going to begin with the Lakes House hymn, which I don't think we've sung in a while. Hymn number 6, Amazing Grace. Please stand. Thank you. Please be seated. So recently we hosted a fundraiser for the Cowichan Hospital, which is a very important part of what we do. But some of you may not know that British Columbia has another hospital, a very special hospital that's designed with staff and facilities just for children. And so every year we participate in their fundraiser, which is a day where everybody gets to wear blue jeans. So we find the best way to really talk about children's hospitals to have one of our own talk about what it's meant to them. So that's what we're going to have this morning. But before our special guest speaker comes up to the podium, I'll ask Mrs. McIntosh to come forward and give us a little bit of information about Children's Hospital. There she is.
Good morning. For those of you who've never seen my face before, I work up on the 4th floor of the main building in the finance department. I am here to speak to you about Jeans Day. I'm going to give you some numbers, but as with all finance, that's not the whole story. Every single dime that Jeans Day raises impacts people and young people. Very much the same as this school. Every single decision made in the finance department or by people spending money or earning money here at the school impacts every single one of you. So Jeans Day began in 1990, and I'm pretty sure most of you weren't born, even some of the staff here. It's been going since then, and it's a fundraiser, as the Rev said, for BC Children's Hospital. They have raised $21 million since 1990 through this fundraiser alone. And you're kind of wondering, okay, how many children have this impacted, the money? 1 million. Now, that's just the 1 million that have been treated at BC Children's Hospital, but as with you and your families, your experience here at Shawnigan impacts other people, impacts other schools, with the Case Leadership Conference, for example, the recent Youth Leadership Conference. It impacts the people you go out in the world to. So BC Children's Hospital impacts other hospitals in BC and really across Canada with research, with expertise, with training. And not every child that benefits from the fundraising at BC Children's Hospital actually ends up going there, fortunately, because it is, the last place. It's the last sort of hope for kids that can't be treated at their local hospitals. So when Jeans Day comes up on Thursday, it's not just about wearing the jeans, it's about the impact you're having with your donation. The pins are $20 and the little cardboardy kind of pins are $5. They are limited as far as quantity, and I know your house, head of houses have those available to you. So please think about that, but when you're pulling on your jeans on Thursday, think about the contribution you're making to kids in BC, okay? And in addition to that, to their families. And to that, we have Ms. D is going to speak today about the impact as a grandparent that BC Children's Hospital and their research had on her family. And as a parent, I can attest that there is no greater terror than to see your child in pain or in illness when you have no control of the outcome. So, Ms. D.
Please indulge me this morning as I put on my grandma hat and tell you a short story. It's called You Never Know What Life Has in Store for You. Just over a year ago, my family was eagerly anticipating the arrival of a new baby girl. For my husband and me, a second granddaughter. My daughter's pregnancy had not been an easy one, and we knew she would welcome the moment she could finally hold her new baby in her arms. Fiona would often complain about how the baby would probably be a hockey player because of the daily and nightly ongoing practice that seemed to be going on inside her. Then everything changed. One evening close to Fiona's due date, all of this internal activity suddenly stopped. And my daughter rushed into the Cowichan Valley Hospital only to be told there was something wrong. An emergency C-section and vigorous subsequent infant resuscitation thankfully saved the life of baby Elsie, who was born sporting a true knot in her umbilical cord. This knot had been tightening every time she moved in utero, cutting off her life support and sending her into distress. That same cord was also wrapped around her neck twice. Our family will be forever grateful for the expertise and rapid intervention of the medical staff at our local hospital. We don't know if it was the trauma Elsie suffered at birth that made her susceptible to infection, but a few weeks later, my daughter and her husband found themselves back at the hospital in Duncan with a very sick baby who was becoming steadily less able to breathe properly on her own. Fluid was building up in her lungs, and the pediatrician on call quickly realized that the baby needed more care than was possible to provide in Duncan. He tried to arrange for Elsie to be airlifted to the nearest acute care center. No helicopters were available to take her to Children's in Vancouver, so a fast trip in an ambulance took them down to Victoria General Hospital and the Pediatric Intensive Care Unit. Elsie was quickly put into an isolation room as the medical staff thought she had the highly contagious disease whooping cough, which can be critical in infants. She needed help to breathe. A feeding tube was inserted. Antibiotics were administered. She was poked and prodded and hooked up to various monitors. I remember feeling such complete helplessness as Elsie lay cocooned, completely still, and as we listened to her labored gasping. The beeps told us she was still with us. The visceral terror as the heart rate monitor fluctuated, and the look of dread and exhaustion on my daughter's face, and the hushed tones of the staff as they worked to save Elsie will always stay with me. A pediatrician later told Fiona and her husband that Elsie was among the 25 sickest kids in Canada when she arrived at the hospital. The diagnosis was pneumonia in both lungs. After 10 days in ICU, the fluid in Elsie's lungs was reabsorbed, and our little fighter fully recovered. After a crazy start to her life, she is now a healthy and mischievous 1-year-old. Battles such as this go on daily, as skilled medical professionals soldier on as they did to help our family survive intact. I cannot stress the importance of how crucial it is that we support hospitals across not only British Columbia, but around the world. Thank you in advance for participating in Jean's Day and supporting a hospital where children are given hope, care, and a fighting chance for life.
Thank you, Mrs. D. So I defy anyone not to support a children's hospital this Thursday after that. Yeah, that was wonderful. Thank you. So just switching gears a bit, one of the things I always feel bad about is shirking my responsibility as chaplain of kind of we sing about maybe a third of the hymns in this book, so we're going to try a new hymn this morning. You can open up to hymn number 41 while I'm gabbing up here. Praise my soul, the King of Heaven. A little background, it was written by a fellow named Henry Francis Lyte, who was kind of a global soul. In some ways, he was born in Scotland, educated at Trinity in Dublin, and he was a priest for 24 years in southern England at the same parish. I imagine they must have gotten tired of him after a while. But this hymn is taken from the 103rd Psalm. The Psalms, of course, are the prayer book and the Hebrew scriptures. And so it's a song really about it's a song really about the goodness of the universe. It refers to a good God, a God who cares for us and takes care of us. So however that is meaningful for you, I just encourage you to just join in with the kind of joyful feeling of this. And I'm going to invite Mrs. Tyrrell to come forward and go through it for us. Thank you.
Morning. There are two kind of vocal traps that happen in this hymn, so I just want to make you aware of them. Then I'm going to get Mrs. Daniel to play through the melody, and then we're going to sing it through together. You can stay seated for now, and I'll let you know when you can stand. So Mrs. Daniel was playing this as you walked in, so some of you may have it kind of rolling in your minds. And it kind of trucks along. It's a pretty reliable melody. It's one that's, you can predict it pretty easily. But there's two things that might trip you up. The first is at the end of the first line, because the rhythm goes, praise my soul, the King of heaven. So heaven is longer. So at the end of the first line of each verse, you need to hold those notes a little bit longer. And then the other little trick is at the very end, the very last line, Alleluia, Alleluia. Those two are exactly the same. And then praise the everlasting King is lower. And lots of people want to go back up again at the end. So that goes, Alleluia, Alleluia, praise the everlasting King. Okay, so let's let Mrs. Daniel play through the melody for us, just so that we make sure we've got the right key. I don't. So it's higher than I even dreamt. So here's what I want you to do for now. I want you to sit like you're sitting on a couch watching TV. Everybody relax. Now sit up like you have to sing a really high song in chapel while you're sitting down. Back to couch. Relax on the couch. Okay, sit up like you have to sing a really high song in chapel. Okay, let's stay seated. We're going to sing it together. Mrs. Daniel, if you could just play that melody with us, we're going to sing along with it. Then we're going to stand and sing the whole thing with the full organ. 2, 3, 4. Praise my soul, the King of heaven. To his feet thy tribute bring. Ransomed, healed, restored, forgiven. Evermore his praises sing. Alleluia, alleluia. Praise the everlasting King. From your seats, give me a thumbs up if you've got it. It's absolutely perfect. Thumbs sideways if you're not quite sure, and thumbs down if you did not get it at all just now. Everybody, show me your thumbs. Okay, we've got enough that are not quite satisfied that I think we should do that one more time, just like that, and then we'll stand up and do the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Praise my soul, the King of heaven. To his feet thy tribute bring. Ransomed, healed, restored, forgiven. Evermore his praises sing. Alleluia, alleluia. Praise the everlasting King. Let's stand up. Let's do it with a proper intro and with the full organ, please. Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you all. You are awesome. Ms. Tiro, you are awesome. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Enjoy the sunshine.